They are a scourge upon our galaxy, the most vile and sadistic of all our xenos foes, and a peril to any who would ply the void in search of profit or gain. Whatever happens, should the shadow of their ships darken your path, pray you die fighting at the helm of your vessel, lest fortune favors you and they take you alive. From Magos Domos Angelain, an explorator. The Calixis sector and Koronus Expanse are regions that have some significance to the Eldari, and while it has been many Terran millennia since they have been any major presence there, the worlds of that great frontier are still laced with many thousands of webway passages and tunnels connecting worlds and star systems. Today, these tunnels are twisted, stretched, and torn by the psychic pressure of the warp storms dividing the Calixis sector and Koronus Expanse. While the mysterious rites of the Harlequins long ago sealed many of these passages, others still remain open to the tides of the warp, infested with vile and ephemeral creatures. This region of damaged tunnels is centered across the warp rift known as the Screaming Vortex. The Vortex is home to teeming horde of demon worshippers and mutants, living and dying at the whims of warlords and sorcerers, intent on murder and subjugation in the name of their dark gods. While this is a ready source of slaves and victims for the raids of the region's cabals, it is a realm largely inhospitable to the Drukhari. So strong is the presence of she who thirsts within the storm. However, suspended at some point between the Screaming Vortex, the Koronus Expanse, and the Webway is an island of relative stability where numerous groups of Drukhari have formed a twisted haven. Here floats the Nexus of Shadows, a Drukhari outpost built upon an ancient and massive technological relic. 3 major cabals dwell in these tunnels and passageways. The foremost of these, at the heart of the Nexus, is the Cabal of the Splintered Talon. The others, the Cabal of the Shadowed Thorns and the Cabal of the Crimson Woe, are of a more mercenary inclination due to their lesser status, often selling their murderous skills to other races in exchange for resources or opportunities to grasp at power. The Cabal of the Crimson Woe operates in the Calixis sector more than in the Koronus Expanse, in part to avoid directly competing with the Cabal of the Shadowed Thorns and thus drawing their ire. Numerous other groups exist alongside these, from the Cult of the Withered Blade, which controls the blood-spine pits on the Nexus of Shadows, and the Sutured Helix, a coven of homunculi, to numerous smaller factions that raid and scavenge for scraps of their betters' might and prestige. The Drukhari operating near the Nexus are frequently on the move, either carried within fleets of void ships or traveling in smaller groups on light skimmers through the winding and impossible labyrinth of the Webway, returning to the Nexus of Shadows only periodically to trade their cargo of tormented victims for supplies and to replace slain warriors. These itinerant raiders often cross paths with pirates and reavers of other species, particularly the Chaos-aligned flotillas that hail from the Screaming Vortex and isolated bases like Iniquity. A select few of these have been shown the location of the Nexus, so that they may trade in slaves, dark lore, and abhorrent technologies, but these are relatively rare. The Drukhari are a plague upon the Koronus Expanse. Raiders, slavers, pirates, and even rogue traders suffer at their barbed lashes and blades. Any who cross the maw and sail the void of the Expanse learn to fear the wicked silhouettes of their void ships and their seemingly endless cruelty towards all life, including their own. Only vigilance and firepower keep the worst depredations of these terrible raiders at bay, though from the dens of Footfall to the commerce halls of Port Wonder, there are countless tales of crews lost and ships savage in their sudden attacks. Within the Calixis sector, the Imperial Navy keeps the warp routes and sector worlds protected against the worst of these raids, and while some outposts and lone vessels still disappear at the hands of the foul xenos, most Imperial citizens sleep soundly, never even knowing that such a depraved species haunts the stars above their heads. In the Koronus Expanse, it is different, as that lawless place has neither a fleet capable of guarding the uncharted wastes, nor a tightly controlled network of worlds that can call upon one another in times of need. The Expanse is a playground for the Drukhari, where along with a myriad of other alien menaces, they can raid worlds and take void ships with relative impunity, slipping away into the night from whence they came. The power of the Drukhari is compounded by the fact that no one knows precisely where they come from, or where they go, nor can they explain the aliens' uncanny ability to appear from nowhere and then vanish with their stolen cargoes of goods and slaves just as quickly. Some rogue traders believe there must be a Drukhari world somewhere in the Expanse from which they launch their raids, though where exactly it is and how it could have evaded detection for so long remain a mystery that has yet to be unraveled.